Hi, and welcome to Two CPAs in the Mic, the podcast where we talk tax, finance, and all things related to business. Whether you're a business owner, working professional, or someone who wants to start a career in accounting, this is the podcast for you. Hosted by CCK Strategies partners Jeff Frable and Sara, we dive into relevant business and tax matters with working professionals to make these topics less intimidating, relatable, and dare we say fun? Let's get down to business.
Welcome to this week's episode of Two CPAs and the Mic. We are so glad you joined us today. We are talking relevant business, tax, and accounting topics. We're applying straight talk with practical information, maybe some unexpected humor, but without all the jargon and the stuffiness that normally comes with our industry in our profession. My name is Jeff Frable. I'm a partner at CCK Strategies. I've been with this firm for 25 years, been a partner for 20 years. And I have, again, my trusted and valued co-host, Sara. What's up?
What up, Frabes? I am Sara, have been with CCK for going on 19 years and am just a partner baby. Have only been partner for 6 months. Yes.
Not even a toddler yet.
Not even a toddler, still a baby.
Yeah, we have not used that adjective yet. And I'm glad you used it, not me. So.
Me too.
But yes, partner baby. I'm still learning the ropes, of partner, but I got CCK down pat.
Yeah,
right.
You've been here.
You do too. Yes.
Yeah. And Christy's with us. Hi, Christy. Good morning.
Hey guys. Hey Sara. Hey Jeff. Sara. Thank you for saying partner baby and not partner in your first big girl job. No, to all people who are looking, do not ever say that in an interview that you're a big girl or big boy looking for that first job.
You know, I can't help but think of when you say partner baby, Muppet Baby came to mind for me. So.
Or a matter baby.
What?
What's that?
A matter baby.
I don't know what that is.
Is that like the matter?
You don't know what a matter baby is?
No, is this a generational thing or?
No,
clearly, because we don't know what it is.
Curtis, I know we haven't introduced you yet, but do you know what a matter baby is?
I don't.
I need somebody to say what.
Okay. If you know what that is, email us that.
Say what is and then that word.
Matter baby?
Yes.
What is a matter? Oh my goodness. That's like saying sup dog, right?
Sup dog.
Dog. Yeah. Okay. I fell for that completely. Very
well.
nice.
Y'all wouldn't even say what's a matter, baby.
We didn't want to embarrass you. We were so embarrassed for you.
Sarah.
We didn't want to embarrass you.
That totally bombed.
No, I tell you right now, I have a daughter that probably heard that and she's shaking her head going, "Oh, Dad, I can't believe you fell for that." So
yeah, Riley.
Anyway, now that we've gone totally down the wrong path this morning, like I said, if you're listening your first time, we actually don't act this silly every time, but we are covering, again, relevant business, accounting, tax topics. And we've got a topic today that I think confuses and scares a lot of people. We're going to be talking about mostly about cybersecurity and how to leverage resources, not just technical resources, but all kinds of resources in your business. And you would think that covering this type of topic, Sara, I think people might be worried that we've got a strange, weird IT guy on the mic.
We do have a strange, weird IT guy. No, not really.
But he's got personality.
He has got personality. He really is like the coolest IT guy I've ever met. Not some scary.
I concur. He is
not some scary guy sitting in a dark basement.
Yeah.
With like a blue light behind him. Yes. No.
I will say one of the things that's amazing about CCK, besides the culture and the work we do and everything we've been talking about on this podcast for months now, is our IT department.
Yes.
We have two of the most brilliant guys. And like you said, they we were joking. I was joking that he has a personality, but they really do. Curtis, who is our guest today, and Lee, who's helped us kind of get things up from a technology perspective on the podcast. These guys have a heart, and they're so good with our teammates. And I tell you, our teammates just love them. They do a great job. And so, Sara, why don't you introduce Curtis?
All right, we've got Curtis Olson as our guest on the mic with us today. Curtis has been with CCK. I don't want to steal any of his thunder. He's been with CCK for 2 years now, maybe 3.
3.
Nice. All right. See, 3 years. It goes by so fast, doesn't it?
It's crazy. Yeah, it does. It's been 3 great years, 3 exciting years. So, yep.
I concur. I mean, I know personally it's been exciting, but even for the firm, it's been so exciting with all the things that you've been pushing us to do and steering us in the world of IT. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, Curtis, what you do, how you came to CCK, and then I think you have a certification. I see it. I read it as CISM. I don't know if that's even right. CISM, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. So I want you to say give a little background on what that is and how you got that certification too, and all of that. Do you remember everything I asked you to do?
In 2 minutes or less.
Yeah, we'll wing it. I think so.
Yeah, we'll wing it.
This is why we love Curtis.
Yes.
So first off, thanks for having me on, guys, and really all the kind words that you've introduced me with. A little bit about me and the history I bring. I started into IT when I was 19 years old without really a vision that this was going to be a career. I was a 19-year-old college student, and I was broke and I needed a job. So along came a help desk role, and it turned into something pretty amazing to me. So I stepped into that help desk role, and I was just eager to learn, and which really led to like a senior role, senior analyst role, led to system administrator, infrastructure role. So I stepped through many different growth opportunities along the way, and with that, I was really able to just take advantage of learning systems of training that some of my previous employers had offered me, and learned how IT works in a business, right? Not just how to fill a role, but how do we leverage IT across the board, and really, how do I interact with an entry level position? How do I interact with leadership, and really building those soft skills in the background? So it's been I don't want to date myself here, but it's been a few years and it's been a journey. But that brought me to CCK. And as I mentioned, celebrating 3 years next week. And it's just been one opportunity after another. And it really has been exciting. We're doing so much, both internally and externally. And I found my home. I kind of joke with some people that I'm a nerd, an IT nerd.
We're accounting nerds. It's fine.
I tell you,
That's where he's
exactly.
going with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it took me several years to find where I fit in at, and I'm happy to say it's at CCK. So it's been great. I think what else? You asked about the CISM.
We want to talk about this certification, because I think there's a little bit of a story behind that too, isn't there? That you need to brag about. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for bringing it up.
If
I don't.
They will, and it might come out better from you.
Okay, well, we'll give it a try. You guys know me. I don't like to brag, right? I just let my actions speak for themselves, and humbly, I try to.
Right.
I'm not always
Absolutely.
humble, but I try to be. But yeah, the CISM, it's a global certification, and it's presented, or it's offered by ISACA, and
What is
it.
What is ISACA?
So ISACA is is like a credentialing organization. It offers many different certifications, from everything from like risk advisory, audit assessment type certifications, business, the business management stuff. But really, it's a global community of tech leaders, and really with a shared vision of let's drive innovation for business IT, business security, cybersecurity, and really just bringing in just a wealth of knowledge. And on top of that, there's local chapters across many cities, worldwide. And it's really just kind of a knowledge center. And so ISACA offers multiple different certifications. I took the CISM, and the interesting story to that is, I can remember taking this exam, and I was so nervous in it. And the first couple questions that I got hit with, like, there's no way I'm going to pass this. Like, I'm so nervous. These are so hard. And, I make it through it, and I get like a provisional, hey, you passed. I get a letter in the mail with my score, which was a phenomenal score. And I come to find out.
And what was the score?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Right?
It doesn't
I might
matter, but there's a title of some kind that goes with it. Come on, Curtis.
There is, right? So with that, I was recognized as having a top score worldwide, and which, man, that was cool. And with that recognition, I got to go out and meet with several of the leaders with ISACA, and really is just a great experience with that. So thanks for pulling that out of me, guys. I don't always bring that up. But.
Could we add the GOAT to the end of his credentials?
Yes. Well, I was going to say,
he kind of is, right?
He's the baddie in the IT world.
Seriously. Yeah.
That's us. That's us.
I know the guy that can add that to the signature.
Curtis slaps. Curtis, we're proud of you, Brian.
Yes.
We're proud of you.
Curtis,
and I was about ready. I was about ready to get in there and just say it, because I could tell how hard it was for you to even get to.
Yeah.
It, so.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I can drag it out a little bit. Right?
Well, we appreciate you, Curtis.
Yes. So basically that means Curtis knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
I mean, so when we start down this road in this subject, know that Curtis is a baddie, the GOAT, and he knows everything to know, right? Everything, right, Curtis? I'm pre-qualifying that.
Those are big words. We try to know everything, and we bring the attitude.
Hey, he knows more. He knows more than me, for sure. So when it comes to IT,
honestly, he probably knows more than the three of us combined.
Yeah. I'm thinking right.
Yes.
All right.
All right, Curtis, we're just going to get right into it. You've given us a great background of who you are and that you know this topic. What exactly is cybersecurity? I mean, are we talking like, what I hear cybersecurity, I'm like, we are a digital world, and we interface digitally with everybody across the world. And, there's so much information out there. What is cybersecurity in a nutshell?
Yeah. So cybersecurity, it's a collection of everything that we're doing within the business. It's protecting systems. It's protecting your network. It's protecting that digital footprint. Are you protecting your client's information? Are you maintaining that confidentiality, the integrity of the data, the availability of the data? So when we start looking big picture, it's understanding what you have and really the practice of protecting that. So anymore, we just maintain such a large digital footprint, and we have to be flexible within the business. And so when we have that footprint, we now need to create policies, and we need to create practice to do our best to protect that. And that's really, when we start talking about cybersecurity, big picture, it's what are we practicing to protect our data, to protect our business?
Right. Okay. So go ahead, Jeff.
Frable's
got a question.
Yeah, I do, even though I'm not leading. No. So, Curtis, is cybersecurity just a buzzword, or has it always been there since the dawn of the computer, or has it gotten worse in the last? Because at a very simple level, we're talking about people trying to bust into our electronic data, right? So has this just been progressively getting worse over the years, or is it just something you really don't need to worry about at all?
Yeah. So it can sound like a buzzword, right? But it's been an evolution. We start to look at how spread out technology is in our, not just our business, but our lives, right? So cybersecurity now extends outside of our business and out into our personal lives. So while, we hear buzzwords like it and hey, you can talk about the risk associated with it, it's something that just is ingrained with our lives, and it's something that has progressed and evolved along the way. So, when we start to look at it, we just really need to start thinking about, hey, are we taking care of what's in front of us to the best of our ability? And I know when I start to talk about business leaders, we have the same mindset as business leaders. Hey, are we taking care of our employees? Are we taking care of our clients? Are we taking care of the needs that we have in-house? And we start to look at technology that's spread out all the way through that. And really, as an IT leader, I'm working with business leaders. I'm working with end users, and we all share the same goal, right? We want to come into work, and we want to have an environment that's up. We want to know that we can tell our clients that we're taking care of your data. We want to know that if we get attacked today, that we're going to be in business tomorrow. So I know that kind of takes a step from your question there, down the line, but it is a huge part of our lives, and it doesn't stop, when we walk out the door.
Right. So cybersecurity is securing technical and digital data, right? So, and you're talking about protecting it. So let's start with, what are we protecting our data from? So what kind of some of the biggest threats that you're seeing in the most, well, I say biggest, but common threats? What are some big threats? And then I know you've got some pretty cool stories, or at least one cool story about what happened when somebody got attacked.
Yeah. So the most common threat that we see, and we see it daily, we see phishing attacks daily, hourly. And so that's really the most common attack.
Phishing is like getting those random emails of, hey, click on this document, and because I sent you something, and it's somebody you don't even know, right?
Exactly.
I knew something, Jeff.
Well, you get training on that, right? So it should be.
We're going to get to that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead, guys. But it's not just phishing. Ransomware has always been pretty prevalent. Insider threats, believe it or not, our own people could be a threat.
That's creepy.
It is, but it's something that you need to prepare for.
Yeah.
And just understand that it's a possibility. And then lastly, business email compromise, right? So it's really a step from phishing to another low tech, but it's really effective. And I have an example of one of them I can share here. So I think this is a couple of years back now that Eagle Mountain City, they had like a $1 million mess up that came as a result a business email compromise, right, or something along those lines, where an employee at the company was handling all their billing, all their accounts payable, and got an invoice that ultimately was fraudulent. But the invoice was needing to be paid. It was a contractor or a vendor that the city would normally work with. And what happened was a threat actor came in and sent this fraudulent invoice in to the tune of $1 million plus, and it ended up getting paid.
Wow.
So that individual at the city probably went through all their correct process, said, yeah, this looks good, handles invoices like that regularly, and paid it. So, we look at things like that, like, man, that would never happen to us, right? We're, something like that, we're going to catch and we're going to know, but have you put steps in place?
It happens.
Yeah.
So Curtis, when you talk about these emails, because I know anybody listening to this is, whether it's personal or in their business life, sees these emails. I would venture to say that not every email rises to the level of a ransom or a bribe or compromising data, but there's always some kind of threat or something that they're doing with that information. If we're not talking about the worst answer or the worst possible scenario, what are the other things that these emails are trying to get at? Is it just trying to get your information so they can spam you, or is everybody just trying to shut you down?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different approaches, and with the availability of AI, it's become even more sophisticated, even more widespread. So it's not necessarily just a threat actor needing an instant click from you to get what they need today, but they can become ingrained, right? So they can start small because this is all automated. And so you get these scenarios where like, hey, a threat actor can get your trust and over time take advantage of that. So yeah, gone are the days where like they need that instant click to get some sort of payment out of you. And now they can start to attack you from multiple angles, right? So they can come in and get your email address, know that's the preferred method, maybe get a meeting with you and get content, right? Get your video and start, you start looking at some of the deep fakes that are going on that are absolutely insane. So Jeff, if I get a meeting with you and I can have you on video and I can get your voice and get your audio as a threat actor, I'm empowered with AI. Now I can start to set up meetings with someone else within the company.
No.
And really dupe them into something that's much, much more significant.
I had no clue.
That's awful.
I had no clue.
Scary.
That is, I mean, because I've even seen emails recently where I'm getting phishing emails with voicemails attached. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to click on the voicemail, but I'm trying to get to why they would even leave me a voicemail. And now I'm like, oh, okay, they want me to call back so they can get my voice. That's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy. And it's not like you're needing someone with a PhD level ability on the other side, right? So if you understand how to use ChatGPT, something like that, you can come through and you can learn how to use these technologies and they're readily available.
Curtis, you mentioned earlier, and I know we're going to get into it, but you teach us a lot. You teach us how to be aware. I'm going to share a story, you guys. I had a text come through the other day, and it was supposedly from the
Turnpike Authority?
Well, something like that. It wasn't the Turnpike, but it was DMV, and that there is an outstanding ticket, and if you don't pay it by this date, it was very specific. It was a warning, and I know because you've taught us, but there was a sense of heightened fear that, oh no, someone in my family, maybe one of my kids was driving my car, whatever it was, and we didn't pay this. I'm like, no, this is our authority is not even called by this name. And so I looked it up online to make sure. And there you have it. There's a big scam going around. But my point is, I had a heightened awareness and a fear that triggered me. And that made me a little bit mad that someone is going to play on an emotion like that immediately through my phone and my text. It was invasive.
Yeah. And that's part of, and that's part of what I'm talking about. Cybersecurity matters in our business, but it matters just as much in our personal lives. I hate to motivate with fear, right? And when we start to talk to employees, I don't want to scare them into complying with what we want to do as a policy or procedure. But at the same time, these threats reality. Are real.
Yeah.
Well, and you think you're smart enough that it would never fool you, but Christy, I have a story that's somewhat similar to yours, where I had a client that got it was an email of some kind from the quote unquote IRS, and this client just so happened to be having recent communications via regular mail, which is the only way that the IRS communicates. They don't do it through the email, and I mean, this is an intelligent person. And he's like, is this real? Because I thought it was related to those notices that you've been dealing with. But it just goes to show you that these individuals that are doing this are shooting out so much of this that they're bound to hit. And if they hit 1% of the time, that's a big number. And if they get the right piece of information out of that hit, it's a big score for them. So.
Yeah. So Curtis, we've been talking about what some of those common threats. Let's talk about what are the stats around those threats? Like how real is this and how prevalent is this?
Yeah, surprisingly much more real and prevalent than most people would guess. I was reading a report here a while back that over 60% of the small to medium-sized businesses actually have reported an attack in the last year. So that's not to count all the rest of them that probably were attacked and just didn't report it. So you can very much assume that as a business leader, your business is getting attacked, and that should just like raise that awareness. What are you doing on the other side of that? And on these successful attacks, they're big deals. You start to look at attacks that range, 100,000, 200,000, just to keep your business floating here. So that's the initial attack. But if they're successful and they're able to exfiltrate data, there could be ongoing expenses there, paying for damages. There could be loss of business revenue, downtime. So that's just, it's so impactful when you start to look at these different breaches and these different types of attacks. And with that, there's things that we can do to help mitigate it. Financially, we can carry cyber liability insurance, but those numbers are surprisingly low too. So you look at probably in the ballpark of 25% of businesses, of the small businesses, are actually carrying a cyber liability policy.
That's so
Sometimes
small.
it's because often it could be that they don't know that that's something that they need, but it's becoming increasingly more difficult just to obtain it, right? So now you're having to do all these extra steps that 10, 15 years ago that you may not have had to as a business. So you're having to implement new controls that really might put a strain on a small business to do that financially, but you're introducing a ton of risk if you're not looking at different mitigation factors.
Yeah. Okay. So with that in mind, I mean, we talked about cyber liability insurance, all those things. Can my business be 100% foolproof from cyber attacks?
Oh, that's a dream, right?
Right?
Trick question.
I don't know a way to give you 100% confidence that you're never gonna be hit by an attack, or you're gonna be able to withstand every attack. If you find out a way, please tell me. I would like to learn it. But that doesn't mean that we don't try. Just because we can't achieve that like total stability or total containment of all these threats, we definitely have to try. And we need to start to implement like a healthy security practice, and that really starts right at the end user. So they're going to be our very last line of defense. When you get that phishing email with a link in it, when you maybe find that flash drive sitting out in the parking line, like, hey, do I want to plug this in and see what's on it? I mean, those things are real. Those things happen. So it's really just, hey, we start with our last line of defense, our employees, and we want to educate them, and we want to do this in a healthy way, right? So we want to explain like, hey, these are the type of threats that you will likely see, and we want to use, whether that's video training with like video type of content, whether we're doing simulated phishing attacks, just explaining the social engineering aspect, and then also kind of just building this mindset that the end user should report to leadership, should report to IT and say, hey, I seen something suspicious here. I'm not sure about it. Can you look at it for me? And when you start to have that employee, that end user that understands that, hey, IT's here for me. Hey, our business security, they're on my team, and I want to go to them when I see something that doesn't quite add up. So that happens when you have like that healthy take within the business. But man, there's so many other things that we can do. You start to look at password policies, multi-factor authentication. So
what's multi-factor authentication?
Yeah, the thing that drives us all nuts.
Oh, come on. If you understand what it's for, you're like, man, that's great.
I understand, Curtis.
I mean, after what he just said in the first 10 minutes, I'm freaking out. Like, can we have a bajillion factor authentication?
Yeah, and to your point there, Jeff, man, some of these things are frustrating as an end user, and we understand that. So it's taken a healthy approach from IT leadership and saying, what can we give our end user, and what can we do as a security measure, and marry those together to not make your life painful, but also to provide that extra layer of security. So that multi-factor authentication, really, that's it's an additional layer to your username and password. So Jeff, when you log in, you type your username and password, you're getting prompted on a text message from that application, or getting a push on your phone, and just adding another layer in there that makes it really, really hard for that threat actor to be able to gain access to your account. So those are low cost to implement, but really, really effective measures that a business can do.
Yeah, what are some other best practices?
Yeah,
yes, I think you were going down that.
Yeah, that's how I was going to jump in. It's as IT my whole life, I'm used to being in the updating and patching practice. So that's something that businesses can do regularly, and they should be. Microsoft is patching their systems once a month, every month, if not releasing more like fixes for 0-day vulnerabilities. But really, when you're patching your system, when you're
Curtis,
keeping
what
those,
does patching mean?
yeah, updates. You get them on your phone.
Thank
like,
you.
When it comes up and says, "Hey, iOS is ready to update," and you click, "Yep," go. That's pretty much every business application will stay up to date or will provide updates as they recognize vulnerabilities in their application. So those patches really are coming through and correcting something that a threat actor can take advantage of. So if you can enable auto updates, if that's not necessarily practical for your business applications, come up with a good game plan. If that's a maintenance window to take your systems down and update, get that on the calendar and make it part of your routine, and just be proactive in that area. It's easy to skip over this, but that's just a vulnerability that we can introduce into our environment if we don't stay up to date.
Yep.
Curtis, what are some of the things because the things that you were talking about there seem to be kind of external and generated by the provider. One of the key roles that you play as part of our IT department is internally. And so kind of talk a little bit about when we talk about a cybersecurity culture, talk about some of the things that an organization should be doing. I hate to say that we do, because I don't want to make it sound like it's perfect, but what should an organization be doing that would create that culture?
Yeah. When you start talking about culture, this IT governance, your business systems, your technology, it's not siloed. It has to operate as part of the business, right? And IT culture is no different than people culture. That tone, that attitude, that starts at the top. So it's getting that leadership buy-in, right? So all here, we try to do a good job of keeping the partner level educated and up to date on what we're doing and why we're doing it, and building that strategic plan with them, prioritizing what we're doing in IT right at the top, so that way that tone can be shared across the board with the company, and that just really enables kind of a healthy culture there. So,
and I'm going to interject. Multi-factor authentication is great. So I'm just giving leadership from the top compared to Frable's griping about it.
we can edit that out, right? Frable, no griping.
Let me back up. Before, when I really didn't completely understand it, it was a pain, but now everybody does it, and I understand the need for it. How's that, Sara?
I like
great buy-in.
Yeah.
Great buy-in. Okay.
Well, Curtis, what are some of the things? What are some of the things? I mean, we were joking and laughing about it before, but talk a little bit about like the test emails you send out, the training we do, even the laptops that we've recently implemented. All those have a reason behind them. Kind of talk a little bit about how they impact security.
Yeah. So really, everything that we do, every project that we have, every technology that we use, we just need to take this security first mindset into it. And we just need to ask the why. I mean, sometimes it's easy to just assume, well, hey, we need this technology. But asking that why and understanding on the front end, how do we bring security into this decision and not make your life hard? So with laptops, now we're introducing a mobility piece to it. So how are we managing that with really just any of these new technologies, these training applications? You mentioned the phishing simulations. we're trying to make educated decisions on the fly, but we can't do that without first engaging these different business units to understand your workflow. So, that's really good for us when we look at a project, but that might start to catch an end user. When I now know your workflow really well, I can make a custom phishing simulation and try to catch you, right? But it's not a gotcha when we're doing stuff like that. It's we're going to be attacked in a lot of different ways, and we're just looking at how we can best prepare ourselves. Is it actual controls that we're implementing, or is it just building up the people layer and just kind of maintaining that mindset the whole time, that it's not pointing a finger at someone when you fail, but trying to prepare you before we get there.
Well, and I think it's also educating the end user too, because I feel like these cyber attackers are always one step ahead. And side note, they're so stinking smart. I wish they would just use it for good instead of for bad. But they are that one step ahead, and you just want to make sure that we're keeping our end user on edge. And I say that makes it sound fearful, but hey, they're doing stuff and trying new things every single day. And you just taught me some stuff at the beginning of this episode I didn't even know people were using AI to mimic my voice, to mimic my features, to have meetings with people. That's insane to me. And so having that newness out there of things how they can attack is great for education.
I think the education, Sara, too, is part of how using us, because that's what I know, how Curtis is equipping us to be prepared. We may not know the severity of what we just shielded, but I know that their team does. And when we turn something in on these phishing attacks, which, Curtis, what will you clarify what is phishing? We throw that around because I think we know what it is, but for our listening audience, will you simplify what phishing is?
Yeah. So you can think of it very similar to real world phishing with an F. Phishing digitally with a PH is going out and really casting a lot of lines. It's really easy with technology that's available today. They're using AI to drive a lot of this, send out, thousands upon thousands of emails all at once that can be really targeted. And so what they're doing is they're phishing for an end user to click on their email to really just open up a vulnerability. It may not be
clicking a link in the email, clicking a picture, something, they're giving us a directive and we're following the instruction by clicking on it.
Yeah. So it's really just baiting you to do what they want you to do. Right. So it could be a link in an email. It could be an attachment. It could be a call to action where they're like that text that you got where you had a ticket, do something with it. Well, that's smishing. So it's very similar. It's just a different aspect that they're hitting you with or different avenue. But so the whole point is for them to gain something at the end. So we're going to pick on Christy this way. We're going to send her emails that make her have a call to action, make her feel like she needs to click or needs to act on that email. And then I have a next step as a threat actor, right? So that's either gaining access into her system or that's gaining some sort of advantage on her at that point.
Wow. It sounds like warfare.
Very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the cybersecurity culture, you talked about leadership, you talked about fostering a security first mindset, you've talked about empowering staff through training and education. Is there any other things that could help build that cybersecurity culture?
Yeah, so we as IT, we can't do, or we're limited if we don't reach out across the company, right? So when we start to be maybe inclusive of these different departments, you should be working with everyone from that intern that just started today to that business leader and in between to get a good feel for what they're going to see, what they're going to experience, and also really to just build that trust. That way, they're comfortable of coming back and reporting an incident to you. As humans, we're not always great at admitting like, hey, I clicked on something, I made a mistake, but really just building that mindset and making it a safe spot for those employees to report back to you. That's just going to strengthen the business unit as a whole. And the other part of this too is when we start to build those relationships across the company, we can start to pull in people from those different roles, and that can help us plan in IT, right? So I understand as an IT leader what we see every day, but I don't understand, or I don't see what Jeff sees. I don't see what Sara sees. I need to get them involved to understand their workflow, and that all starts with just that people aspect and building those relationships.
Curtis,
Right.
let me ask you a real practical question, because you made a comment that just really kind of made my eyebrow raise a little bit, because this goes to anybody that accesses a computer in our or any other business. Bottom line, we just onboarded like 5, 6, 7, 8 interns in the last week. I mean, these are young individuals, college kids. I mean, that's a big trust factor for us to let someone that it goes for any new teammate, but even more so with someone that's coming in for a short period of time. What do we do from not really a training, but from an education perspective as it relates to IT with individuals like this?
Yeah, so great question there. Right out of the gate, and it doesn't matter whether you're a Jeff that's a seasoned veteran that's been in our systems for years, or you're someone that's just started today. We want to educate, and we want to train. So having a good cybersecurity training application or platform, I mean, that's fundamental. So that's where it starts with, and really just a lot of times this is from a high level, but we want to educate that these are the easiest, these are the known vectors that you're going to get hit from. And so starting with the fundamentals there, we can go back through like a lot of what we talked about, just that healthy culture. But that's the education piece. That's the part where we're relying on those new interns, those new employees. We also have controls in IT, and we're building those controls into all of these end users' roles. So we call it RBAC, which is role-based access controls. And that basically means that, hey, if you're an intern, well, you only need this type of access. So we're using the principle of least privilege to give you, we want to give you everything that you need to empower you to do your job, but we don't want to give you any more than that. So when you have this mindset and you're building that into your daily practice, you're just adding and you're supplementing to what you're doing on the training side.
Nice. Okay, so we've talked about, building this culture. You should have this cybersecurity culture. If I was a business owner listening and be like, well, I know I ain't got one of those. I really need to beef up my cybersecurity game. What does that journey look like to even get started? How do I transform into and having that cybersecurity culture?
You need to have a plan. I mean, that's what it all starts with. And you're not going to be, you're not going to be that 3 or 5 year maturity right out of the gate. Right. So this all starts with, where do we want to go? And what are the steps that we need to go through to get there? So
that's right. With the end game, right? The end game. You have to start with the end in mind and then work backwards. Is that right? Yeah,
100%. So it's really, you're starting with understanding your business. Understanding your business to build that IT strategy. IT spans across every aspect of your business. So it's not like the days where, hey, we just needed technology to enable the business, and then we're going to do everything outside of that. No, I mean, it is ingrained in every role, every position that we have. So having that strategic plan and then setting those goals. Those goals really allow us to kind of make initiatives, and then we can start to work through these different maybe projects or different implementations out there and measure what we're doing. A lot of it really is you take that initial business strategy, where you're going to be, where you want to be in that 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, and building a playbook with it, building a roadmap for that, and just taking a bite out of it at a time. You're not going to be at that finish line that you're talking, like you had mentioned there, day one. Right. But we can start to just grab wins, and we stack those wins, and it really just, it's amazing once you start to bring that type of mindset into a business, how quickly you can start to make progress.
Yeah. And I mean, just to bring a real life example into that, CCK has gone through that. We've gone through that whole planning, strategic, IT steering way to go. And we went through, and I can just see it. I know not every IT person will do this same scenario, but it'll be along the same lines. But we have this pyramid, and I just remember everything in it being red several years ago, meaning these are high impact things that we need to solve and we need to implement and get there. And then Curtis just showed us this just a few weeks ago. It's mostly green now. We're on path. So I mean, it is something that we need to. Every business I believe, should go through it and go through that process, because it's a huge impact, a huge beneficial impact to their business.
So Curtis, if I was a business owner and listening to what Sara just said and thought, well, that'd be kind of an interesting process to go through, how would one go about doing that process?
Yeah, reach out to us. We've been through it. And to Sara's point there, we've ingrained this into our culture, and we've gone through a process and really refined what it looks like to self-assess and then be honest. Know where your gaps are. Let's communicate those, and let's come up with that game plan. Let's build that roadmap out that's achievable, but that's ambitious too, right? So we understand it's a journey. We're not going to get there overnight, but we're going to continue to evolve, and we're going to continue to be proactive in the areas we can. Know that we have to be reactive in other areas that we may not see, but we've taken that process and we've kind of fine-tuned it, and it's green right now, but now we got to make our criteria a little bit tougher.
We got to evolve it, right?
And exactly, we need to take another step forward. So to your question there, if you're a business leader out there and you just have questions, reach out. I think with this podcast, you're going to list out some contact methods there, but certainly give us a call, shoot us an email, and happy to jump on a quick call with anyone and just fill out where you want to go with your business. And that's going to kind of help you make that plan.
Yeah. So some key takeaways from all of this, aside from the fact that I'm just going to make another shout out, we're not just an accounting firm. We are turning into a full business advisory firm. And one of those arms of that is IT security. And but I think another key takeaway for sure is like cyber attacks are real. They're getting more intricate, and you absolutely need to protect yourself and your business and your clients, and you absolutely have a duty to protect those that you serve. So I'm still kind of in shock on some of the things that are new out there from an attack standpoint. So Curtis, thank you for that. Thank you for unlocking a new fear.
No, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm glad to jump on this and really talk through this with you, especially as business leaders. Yeah, it might be scary up front and it might be a fear, but when we start to talk through and realize that this is real, we can start to make plans. I mean, we can be proactive. So just encourage that type of conversation within the business.
I love your approach. I mean, you definitely, Curtis, you lead with your heart. You care deeply about people, and which means business owners are people, and they have such a responsibility not only to making payroll, but to protecting their teammates' privacy. And you're just, I couldn't imagine anyone else sitting in your seat talking about that, because you do lead with your heart and your care for this major responsibility that you have. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you're on our side and that other people can utilize your talents as well.
You know, Christy, we talk a lot about how internally, how we are not just doing a tax return. We are not just working on an audit or things like that. We talk all the time about what we're doing has a major impact on our client's life. And you're dead on with what you're saying about Curtis. And I think it's something that needs to be, if you have just an IT guy that's just kind of making things run, you're missing out on a need in a protection there, because I think the way Curtis sees this is this, when we use the term threat, that's not he sees that as a legitimate issue, and it could mess up our business. It could mess up the lives of our teammates. And you're definitely right. He takes it to heart. So thank you for all that. Thank you for all that, Curtis. And, as we move from the real serious items, we do need to finish up with a not so serious item. So that means it's time for rapid fire. We're working on the audio part of that.
It might sound like Nemo, when they're trying to shoot the guy out of the aquarium, where they're like,
yes. And for our listeners, you should have seen Curtis's face. He's like, "Oh no, what's coming my way?"
Yes.
All right, Curtis, we got some questions for you to kind of, we're gonna lighten it up a little bit and find out a little bit more about you. Okay.
All right, fire away.
All right, sweet or salty snacks?
Both.
Ooh, like a payday?
Yeah, I'm thinking like the kettle corn popcorn, right?
Ooh, that's a good one too. Yes, yes. All right. So what was your favorite childhood TV show or movie?
Oh, just one. I mean, I have this vision of TGIF, so we'd get the whole Friday night, and we'd get multiple ones. But I think
Matters, Full House.
Family, yeah, Boy Meets World. Yeah, so
Perfect Strangers.
Now I've just dated myself, so there we go, guys.
Nice. All right. Good. All right. Now we're going to get into a little bit more on IT type questions. What was your first social media platform that you signed into?
Oh, this is great. So, my freshman year of college, Facebook started releasing their platform specifically to colleges. And I was going to a small college, so I filled out the form for Facebook to allow our college to join their platform.
Oh, nice.
Again,
okay. So the whole college.
There.
Hello, innovator.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
Yep. It was Well, that probably wasn't the first. Now I'm thinking about it. I think MySpace came before.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't know. The memory's fuzzy now.
Right. Yes, I hear you. But no, I think that was a cool little quip about getting your college onto Facebook.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. All right. If your brain was a browser, how many tabs would be open?
A lot. All I can say is processor might be a little bogged down. No free resources.
I hear you. Hey, I got a lot of tabs open too. All right, last one. What's your preference? Text, voice memo, phone call, or FaceTime?
Well, we're not going to FaceTime because I'm an Android user.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
There.
It's situational. I like a good phone call. I can talk, so it is sometimes much better to jump on a phone call. But yeah, if we just need to be short and sweet, text is fine.
Nice. Okay.
So
Good deal.
I got one last question for Curtis. Curtis is, as far as I know, is our most newly married teammate in the firm. So Curtis, with all the time that you spent married, what's the one piece of advice that you give all of us older married people?
Oh, listen to your elders.
Nice. Good answer. And you're an elder, Frable.
Yeah, I get that. Well, anyway, Curtis, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your insight. We appreciate your heart. We appreciate your expertise. So thank you for all the information you share with us today. We mentioned it before, but if you do want to get in contact with us, please email us at podcast@cckcpa.com. Let us know what you think about what you've heard. If you had any questions, have any comments, or have any ideas for a future show, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you, as always, to CCK Strategies for giving us this, allowing us to have this platform to inform and educate and hopefully entertain KP, thank you, Christy, for all your help. Your on-air producer talents. We appreciate you. Robert Mays for his music, his intro and outro. Clarence Fisher with Tulsa Internet Marketing Services for everything he does. And then to our two special teammates, Natalie Renfro and Emily Johansson, thank you so much for everything that you do to keep us issuing podcast episodes. We really appreciate you all. With that, we will wrap up and say thank you again for listening. We hope that you join us next time when these two CPAs get together to have a chat and you get to find out who's on the mic.
The information provided on this podcast is for general informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute accounting, tax, legal, or financial advice. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, laws and regulations change and individual circumstances vary. Always consult with a qualified CPA or professional advisor before making any financial or business decisions. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any organizations they are affiliated with. Listening to this podcast does not create a client-accountant relationship. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge and agree to those terms. And that's a wrap for this episode of Two CPAs and the Mic. If you found today's episode helpful, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review. Have questions or ideas for a topic? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at podcast@cckcpa.com.